shoe or something like that?
Go ahead.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. LA Gear was the only one. And then it was like a limited thing because at the time they didn't know how to do those types of collaborations.
I didn't even know he did that.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, I think he said a few designers actually tried to remake them not too long ago.
I know LA Gear trying to roll out some of their retro shit. I'm like, good luck with that. You know what I mean? They shit used to be bulky.
Hey, who is LA Gear owned? They not owned by like a Reebok or nothing like that, are they?
No.
I have no idea.
When I always be doing like my little research and shit like that on sneaker brands and stuff like that. I be watching documentaries and all that shit. LA Gear ain't that, they don't go that far back. They was like, you know what I'm saying, just an independent, kind of like British Knight was when they was out.
Yeah, I think my man said they ain't last that long. They was out the door by like 89 or something like that.
Yeah, British Knight have a long run, but when they hit heavy. That's how the sneaker game was like that back in the 80s anyway, though, man. Niggas was wearing down there anything. You know what I'm saying? As long as that shit look good on your feet and if you go with your fit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas gave
it seemed like.
That's why Diodora blew up.
Hell yeah.
And Diodora is a tennis brand. You know what I'm saying? Nigga found a flashy way to rock them.
Yep, and everybody wanted to do the same shit.
Niggas scared to do that nowadays, bro.
Everybody doing the same shit.
That's why nigga, like right now the whole thing is a retro game as far as like if only way I'm gonna wear some weird shit is if it's old, as opposed to like stepping outside of what you see and just wear some shit that look good on you. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a lot of people that do that. They just don't get no cool points, so we don't pay attention to it. I got a cousin right now who don't care what type of shoes he put on. I be having to lie to the man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, them raw, cuzzo. Like for real, it's a lot of niggas out here who actually don't care what people think. They just ain't considered fly. So
I think we live in abundance culture too, though. So it's like a lot of what we see is really contingent on like what you consider to be growth. So if it's financial growth, of course you're gonna wear some Balenciagas or some shit like that. If that's what the mentality you're trying to portray, you know what I'm saying?
Them shits be looking trash though.
Hey, this niggas walking around here in the wildest designer shit, bro. And it's like it's the brand. It ain't even about what the shoe is. It's just about the fucking label.
It's the cool points that come along with it. I think that's the thing with most shoes, though. Like with most gym shoes, it's always been like a fashion thing as well as a sports thing. You know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, the basketball shoes ain't really fashionable, but you know what I'm saying? People always try to like swag their sneakers out. They ain't just play basketball in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I will say this though, Mike Jordan did have a vision though. He did say, "I want my shoes to be worn not only on the basketball court, but in business rooms and everything else." And that shit is happening.
But he also had the blessing of having Tinker working on his shit. He could have had fucking Joe Schmo from fucking Albuquerque working on his shit. You dig what I'm saying? He had Tinker, so. Dude had vision.
But they said Mike initially wanted to go with Adidas. I wonder how that would have played out.
Like D Rose Adidas.
Oh, y'all so bogus for that, man.
For real. Even Kanye ain't letting Adidas have no say in how his shoes come out, bro. He got his own team.
Hey, he brought them back to life, bro.
Hey, for real.
He did.
He definitely did, bro. And the crazy thing about it, like, and it all funnels back to him, though. That's what's crazy. He brought them back to life, put their name and their brand out there. Now they got collabs with Pharrell and all these other motherfuckers. But his shit go to him.
Yeah, but that he put that in the package, the royalties and intellectual property. Because remember, Adidas, not Adidas, but Nike fucked them over with the Yeezys and everything.
What he said was he wants his own manufacturer. So I'm thinking his deal is strictly manufacturing through Adidas, and all Adidas want to do is be able to put their label on it.
Yeah, because I don't. When you go out and buy 120 acres of land or some shit, and you own what do you say? I own like acres of land and sheep. That let you know he up to something. You know what I mean?
He got a bigger plan.
Absolutely.
And y'all been seeing the stuff online about him possibly trying to collab with Mike.
Yeah, I read a little bit about it, but I don't know how deep that go.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I think it's interesting how he can go from brand to brand. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these designers are doing. So if he actually can pull off, something with Nike again, while he still got Adidas popping like that, right. I think that'll say something really big for the brand because a lot of people can't do that. You know what I mean? They sign them contracts and they be stuck in them contracts.
Definitely.
Yeah, but listen to him lately, man. He been saying shit like, we suffer from a lack of knowledge. We don't read. We don't look over things and everything like that. And he put himself in a perfect position. Kanye a free spirit, man. Like he letting y'all know he don't bow to what everybody else is doing.
I think just based on what I've seen, I think it all comes down to like he's not afraid to make the mistake so somebody else behind him can learn from it. Like a lot of people want to look perfect in front of everybody. They want to do it right the first time in front of everybody and kind of make it look like what they experienced in life is an anomaly. It's like you ain't gonna get another one than me. But Kanye ain't saying that. He's saying, look, it's a lot of motherfuckers behind me who look and view the world the way I do, and they just don't know how to get through. He said, nigga, everything I set my mind to and put the effort into, win or lose, I'm gonna do that shit. That's always been his mentality. He'll embarrass himself in front of the world just so a motherfucker who need that motivation.
Just to get the win. But it's always about the win in the end. Look, a loss ain't really a loss unless you can't bounce back from it. Like It's not a failure to him. It's just a lesson to Ye. Ye don't care about that shit, man. Ye, look,
he got an interesting mindset.
Look how long he been trying to break through with Louis Vuitton and all this shit, and he went on Sway, and you know what was the phrase that everybody was using for years? How Sway?
You don't know all the answers.
You don't got all the answers, Sway. How Sway?
Hey, you see, he figured that shit out though, right?
Yep.
At some point in time, Kanye gonna figure that shit out, man. Y'all screwed me over here. I'm gonna go over here.
Time to look behind the curtain.
That's it.
Just time enough to look behind the curtain. He'll figure the rest out. And I think that's interesting though, man, because like a lot of motherfuckers don't. I guess they live the fear that's passed down to them from, you know what I'm saying, their parents or whoever the fuck. So they kind of like marginalize themselves in decision making. It's like they gonna take the easiest route, the safest route, go with the safest bet, challenge themselves most minimum because they don't want to take the emotional damage and all this old shit. You know what I'm saying? When you live your life like that, you're gonna be average Joe Schmo for the rest of your life. And you're gonna have access to average motherfuckers who can't see your vision if you be fortunate enough to have one. You know what I'm saying? So you really just gonna be on social media just sharing your fucking personal opinion and your views with motherfuckers who really ain't trying to read all them words. They just want something to laugh at.
Yep.
Man, you're 100% right. Trolling get you way further than knowledge on social media.
Man, so I heard someone once told me years ago, little faith, little reward. Great faith, great reward. It just depends on what you really put into it. High risk, high reward. Little risk, low reward. So it's all about what you put into it.
I look at it like a video game, dude. When you got to exchange shit out of your inventory so you can progress through the shit. When you got to pay points towards your growth in the game. You dig what I'm saying? Your HP and all of those shit. It's like that in life, man. Sometimes you just got to shed that skin. Like, all right, that shit it fucked with me when I was a kid, but I learned something from it. Let me move on and kind of like take bigger risks and challenge myself.
Yeah,
let me keep on challenging myself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, you don't get no gains at the gym without no pain. You dig what I'm saying?
Pain, just weakness leaving the body, man.
Yeah, those lessons learned, man.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers be like, that's why motherfuckers be in toxic ass relationships for them same very reasons, because that pain is more familiar than some new pain. Go through some shit.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take it on, man. That's the only way you're gonna progress. That's what all this shit is about.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Faux Profits Podcast. Today's guest is my man Santana.
What's up, people?
What's going on, my guy? So let's get right into it with you. What made you start this www.rapcapandkicks.com?
Well, for one, I started out with working with Stack of Star and working with thatwave.com probably a couple of years ago. And it just seemed like a lane a lot of people wasn't really occupying at the time. So working with them for a while, I ended up coming up with my own brand. And what I really wanted to do with my brand was create something that artists like ourselves could actually fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Most artists don't like being on media websites because most of the time they reporting some bullshit. But I wanted my brand to really focus on the music and the fashion. You know what I'm saying? That's really part of our culture.
Yeah, because that's what we do, right? Everything for us is culture, you know, art, music, and everything.
Like, don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna lie, like we won't report some shit that all the major outlets are reporting, but we ain't trying to break no stories though. You know what I'm saying? We really just trying to give you the new music and mainly the new sneakers that's dropping.
That's dope.
Yeah, because from time to time I see the posts and some of the stuff that you put, and I was like, oh, it's not the necessary the most trending shit, but it's it's up and coming things or things to look out for,
Right.
and it's pretty unique. And I was like, because there are people that I do follow that are like the fashion geeks and things like that, the boutique places and stuff like that, but
right.
I don't see some of the stuff that you post on their sites, and I was like, okay, he figured he's carving out his lane and he knows what it is that he's trying to do.
I got a brand, you feel me? And like I say, it's pretty much all centered around our culture. Most of the things that we like to partake in, we can't find them all in one spot if it ain't surrounded by a bunch of bullshit to go with it. You know what I'm saying? So this was pretty much just me branding, you know what I'm saying, what it is that, we love and we fuck with every day, from rap, cap, and kicks.
Right.
And the cap is really meant to be like funny, because you know how we say like no rap cap.
Yeah.
But we also, as Black people, deep off into the hats and the baseball caps and all of this other shit. So it all just kind of played in together.
Right. It kind of works like a double entendre in itself.
Exactly. You feel me?
How
so
often?
We give you a few laughs.
Okay. How often do you shoe shop?
I got a shoe shopping addiction. Like, I done had these for so long. These were my first time busting these out. 13 flints.
Okay.
I got shoes. I probably got like 30 pairs of shoes. I never touched the ground yet, honestly.
No, that sound like me, man.
Like stepping in mud and shit. I'm gonna clean them as soon as I take them off.
Yeah, so I got gym shoes and I got my dressier shoes and everything like that. But I got pairs of shoes. Sometimes I end up giving them away because I don't wear them after a couple of years, and I don't realize that they're sitting around. So
I think that's how I'm gonna end up being, because I still got shoes I know I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, you got like
Mr. Drop. I know I'm a double back on it.
You have like personal picks of the week or some shit like that you decide to go along with, or is it just like something as it like come across you that you go ahead and just post about it?
We really try to stick to what's really about to drop. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we'll let you know something surface long before we even have a release date. But for the most part, we don't really dive deep off into customs and that type of shit. We really just letting you know what's about to come out, where you can find it, and how much it's gonna cost you.
Got you.
Is it hard for you to get a hold of certain pairs of shoes that come out that are the more popular brands?
Not necessarily, because everything got a price tag. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want that shoe and you're willing to pay for it, it's a platform out here that'll sell it to you. You might pay $1,500 for it, but you can get it if you want it.
Yeah, I'm not paying $1,500 for nothing.
Look, I'm trying to tell you. I think the most I paid was like $800 or $900.
Really? So what was it that you got?
I ended up buying it was a 700 Yeezy, the blue and orange one. I cannot remember the actual name of this one. I got it off GOAT though. I actually haven't worn them.
Oh, I was just about to ask you that next.
I would have to look at my order history to remember the actual name of the colorway, but it's not too many 700 V1s that's blue and orange. So yeah, they was going for like 800. Oh God, it was like 700, but with taxes it came out to like 8 something. And I was like, look, you got a problem. Like, I don't know why I wanted them so bad. It wasn't even a real hype around. But
how long does a shoe like that take to arrive?
It depends. If they got the shoe on hand, like most of the time I pay for instant shipping. I ain't got time to be waiting for the shoe to come from the seller's house. I actually don't want the shoe from the seller's house. A lot of times, if they don't have the shoe on hand, they selling it on consignment. So somebody will be then sent it to them, they gonna verify it, and then they gonna send it to you. I really only like to buy what they got on hand and make me feel a little better. I don't know if a nigga had his foot in this one or warm on the inside of the crib. I think I've been pretty good at, you know what I'm saying, knowing that they actually have never been worn, because they still be coming like with the tags and like I be smelling them and shit. But every time I buy some shoes for resale, I be thinking, I hope ain't nobody wore these though. Like, I pay way too much money for somebody to sell me these, claiming that they knew, and the nigga warm in the house. Like I be looking for all kind of creases and shit.
Man, there was a motherfucker who bought a pair of I forgot, Jordan 12s or 13s. It's the matter of fact, it's a shoe that you got on, but it was an original.
13.
Yeah, the original joints, the all black from the playoffs. I had somebody buy them joints off me right off my feet. He's like, yo, I give you $500 for them. I was like, what? He's like, I give you $500 for those shoes. He's like, I've been looking for them. I can't find them. It's like, man, you can have them, bro. I took them off, put on my little loafers, and I was like, all right, you got it. I counted the cash up, gave it to him. Like, I'm like, it's just a pair of shoes to me, bro.
You'll be surprised how much people actually will pay for old shoes. I've actually sold a few pair of old shoes, and I did not think I was gonna get that much for them. Like foam posies and like maybe like the CB94s and like up tempo sometimes too. Like if you can keep them in pretty decent shape, because those don't resell. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of niggas like love to get their hands on them, and some people actually just wear beaters. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who get sneaker collections and they actually wear them for real, and they shoes look all beat up, they tied up all tight and shit, and that's how they like to wear their shit. You know, versus us, I don't even want no dust on my shit.
I don't mind a little dust, but it's if it's when it's a high maintenance shoe, yeah, that motherfucker gonna be locked away somewhere, man. You don't even worry about what that black box is. You know, when you see the black box, just keep on going.
Right.
I think like sneaker culture converging with internet culture is a toxic mix, bro. I think because with all these niggas buying up all the shoes, all the drops on with the bots and all of those shit, those you can tell like a lot of these motherfuckers ain't really interested in the culture, but they trying to cash in on it by having all the inventory. You know what I'm saying? So they capitalizing off of the culture by virtue of just the internet.
Yeah. Just trying to play the middleman.
They ain't had no access to us before this shit, bro. We was out here getting what we wanted to get when we wanted to get it. How we wanted to get it. Now you gotta buy them. You know what I'm saying?
From some sucker ass nigga that's got walking around buying 1,200 pairs.
White boy in Idaho. You know what I'm saying? Who mama got that bag? You know what I'm saying? You maxed out her
45 pairs.
Yeah, maxed out her credit card and shit, buying up shoes and shit so he can sell them to the niggas.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And when I be seeing those clips on social media of the guy that got like a minivan full of them, I was like, man, if it was me and the homies, man, we'd just rob you, bro. We'll rob you. Why you got that many pairs of shoes? We will rob your motherfucking ass. Like you playing a very dangerous game.
The shoe man.
Man.
Even when I was younger, I never liked bad shoes from the shoe man. I had an uncle who always used to try to buy me shoes from a nigga out of van. And I was always like, nah, I don't. Like, I don't know if these real or not.
Them shits be coming from Chinatown, bro.
You feel me?
Hell yeah. Mike be having a gut and shit. He be having a loose jersey on an emblem and everything. Right. You be looking at them, what the fuck are these, bro?
Hey,
the color be a little off.
How old were you when old Maxwell Street finally shut down?
The old Maxwell Street?
Yeah, when Jewtown finally came to a close.
You know what? I probably was young as hell. That is definitely not my time.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I was a kid. Like when you talk about Jewtown, to me, the only thing I know about Jewtown is that Maxwell's like right there on the side of the motherfucking expressway or some shit like that. That's the area, right?
Yeah, that's the area.
I was way too young to be over there when that was popping.
I just know that because I remember when they tried to do a final months of it. It was like it looked like some fucking, I don't even know. It looked like a white folks block party, which it probably was because they were happy they bought all that real estate. But you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, the shoe man was all up and down through there.
Oh yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Over on 63rd and Halsted was the same way, bro. 63rd and Halsted, dude, it was all shopping. Upstairs, downstairs, that was a outdoor mall. That's what it was.
Yeah, I remember 63rd and Halsted. I actually used to live on 63rd and Morgan. I remember when they tore that down.
Yeah, when I was a shorty,
Kennedy King right there.
Back in the 80s, it was like niggas go down there, cop their gold chains, the whole little shit down there.
Yeah, early 90s too.
All the dope boys was all up and down through there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The late 90s when I was living over there.
Yeah, Jewtown was famous for that shit, going over there shopping, get trying to cop whatever you could, come up on something, you know what I'm saying? Try to make sure that as close to as authentic as it could possibly be. All that shit, man.
You want you some 12s, they'll make you sound right quick. How much time you got?
Hell yeah. Come back in an hour. Go have some lunch. Come back.
You come back and get you some 12 made custom.
Custom made. The motherfucker still be wet. Ain't even dried yet. Start peeling and shit.
See, in my day, that's 47th Street by the Mexicans.
Yeah.
That's where you go get that type of shit done. Over there by Ashland.
Yep. Hell yeah.
It's out here, man. It's no different from now. Whoever they going to when they get these North Face coats and all these other shits, it's the same shit. I know a guy that be trying to sell them motherfuckers for like $40-$50 at a time, $60 at a pop, and it's cool. Hey, make your money how you make it, but I can't have no shoes like that on my feet. You know what I mean? Like you can't fake that.
Yeah, niggas is way too particular these days. You fuck around, get put on the internet or something.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You want to be able to hustle on that block no more.
So with the website that you have, do you try to cross market your music with it as well?
I try not to put my music on there just because I feel like it's unprofessional. But like if I ever got something I feel like that pops on the level of content that I'm trying to cover, then it'll definitely go up there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to use it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's its own separate business. And Santana De Niro is his own separate business. I mean, like when we do the podcast and shit, you know what I'm saying? It mixes like that in a sense, but you know what I'm saying? I try to stay in my lane with certain shit because I feel like that tarnishes what it is that you're trying to do when you're using it for your own personal gain. Okay. Like I'm in the studio now, you feel me?
Yeah, I can hear the music in the background.
Yeah, we always working.
Yeah.
You so not even instrumentals? You won't even put instrumentals on your website?
You know what? I actually got plans of trying to turn this into a streaming app. And I think I want to start with making a social media platform where producers can interact with each other, like on Facebook, but you can buy their beats and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like now producers be having their websites. I feel like we need a community where, producers and other artists can come and network with each other. And it's just as fun as like being on Instagram or being on Facebook or some shit. We had shit like SoundCloud, but it don't really feel like social media, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So that's probably where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with allowing producers to make a profile on a certain website, you know what I'm saying, and where you could be able to purchase their beats or download them or whatever. And I really want to make the platform universal for, engineers, directors, photographers, you know what I'm saying? And you can book. I even need like a OnlyFans feature where you can reach, certain content that's not available for everybody. So yeah, we got a lot of shit in the works.
That sounds like it's planned out well.
Yes, sir.
Like you really thought about it. I know, like it kind of remind me back early Facebook, late MySpace era, because that's how a lot of people was using MySpace. They was networking.
Yeah, selling their music on MySpace. And I think with us being much older now, there's a market in the things that went out of style when we was kids.
Yep.
You feel me? I didn't feel like I could sell posters again because nobody's selling fucking posters.
That's why people
when we was kids, everybody had posters on their wall.
That's why everybody in the vinyl game is selling cassettes now. You know what I'm saying? People selling cassettes and vinyls now because it's retro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That nostalgia. You can sell. It's a collector's sell. That's why stickers sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do posters. Any type of merch is really good to go, especially now because people want to be able to say, "I'm the one that bought that."
Yeah, I feel like the 80s and the 90s babies and kids come from the eras that are real collectible items. You know what I'm saying? People was like collecting cars and shit from like back then and maybe art, but we started collecting like sneakers, sports memorabilia, you know what I'm saying? Like they just bought Averex back out.
Yeah.
You feel me? That shit was wild as fuck to me to see the Averex coat that I had as a kid on Saks Fifth for like $1,700-$1,800 because now it's real leather. Yeah, I had the one that motherfucker peeled. I didn't want to put lotion on it because it was peeled and the coats was so cheap back then, but that's something that came from our era. and it's coming back.
That's crazy because it's
so
just
I'm really just trying to capitalize on that.
It was just a year or two that they were saying they was taking Avirex off the market.
I ain't know it was still on the market. To me, I thought it came back. Starter actually ain't never went nowhere. It's a website like Culture Kings, but they actually still sell a lot of fucking starters.
I'm saying they
got my old school thing would be like the polo, right? But I wasn't really like a starter kid, but I know like that's y'all era. I think that's gonna make a major comeback as well.
Yeah.
Especially as streetwear is becoming more popular.
Would you ever do you want to design your own shoe?
Yes and no. I want to do collabs, like like Travis Scott do collabs and that type of shit. And I have like played around in Photoshop designing my own shoes, and I do feel like actually cutting and sewing to customize sneakers could actually be a hobby of mine. But like I don't got like dreams of being a tinker and no shit like that. You feel me? But I would like for RAPCAP and Kicks to have their own custom or collab. You know what I'm saying? We do one with Yeezy too. You feel me?
Right.
Like a Supreme kind of thing. We collab with whoever we want to collab with.
That's why.
So yeah, that's definitely on the agenda.
Hey, they're gonna have to turn that music down. It's interfering with the sound.
Hey, you can turn the music down just a little bit. They say it's interfering with the sound. The music interfering with the sound.
Yeah. That's a good
call. I can hear them talking in the background and everything.
Gonna have a recording of the recording.
I know. I can hear them singing, all that. I'm gonna pause it.
Hey, Trip.
All right, cool. We back.
Commercial break, right?
Yep.
Real quick.
A small commercial break.
So what's your what's your 5-year goal for RAPCAP and Kicks?
I would just like to not be the one writing these fucking articles, honestly, shit. I mean, I got a few people up under me, but once, the money is actually coming in for real, and we can actually start hiring people, you know what I'm saying? That's like the first goal. And I also need the shop website up. We got that under construction now, but it's more complex than I thought it was. You feel me? Because I actually want to sell sneakers on consignment too, so we'll be giving places like StockX and GOAT some smoke. You feel me? You
ever think about doing it like having a Twitch channel for it or a YouTube channel for it that's kind of like, how like I'm pretty sure how like IGN do for video games and shit like that, where they do latest breaking news the same way you post on the book. You know what I'm saying? You could do a 10-minute segment. You know what I'm saying? Covering whatever it is you want to cover for that day or that week. Yeah, I'm not too big on Twitch, but as far as like the Facebook, the Instagram, and especially the YouTube, we got a lot of original content in the works. We got rap battles coming. We got sneaker reviews coming. Like I said, we got the podcast coming. And we actually trying to come up with a comedy show too. We can actually utilize some of these rising social media stars that we see. Definitely. I can see that. Get down with Skin Bone. You know what I mean? Yeah, you feel me? Like that type of shit. Yeah. Not necessarily like wilding out, but more like, Saturday Night Live or some shit like that. The ghetto version.
Okay, like sketch comedy? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, you feel me?
Okay. That's
yeah, the RAPCAP and Kicks TV is definitely in the works as well.
Okay, I like the sound of that. That sounds like a really good thing. I like the direction that you're going in with this. Yeah. What? Name your top 3 favorite comedy movies.
My top 3 favorite comedy movies. I don't know. It's so many of them. The first one that comes out the top of my head, I gotta say, We Are the Millers. That shit is fucking hilarious. I don't know, y'all make me want to say something childish. I like Life.
Okay.
Life was a good movie. I feel like it's like comedy and real life.
Hell yeah.
In a sense. You know what I'm saying? And my third, let's see, what's my third favorite comedy movie? Bad Grandpa. That shit was hilarious as hell too.
That shit was silly as fuck, man.
That shit is one of the movies that had me on the fucking floor the first time I seen it. I could not believe he was taking that shit as far as he took it. Johnny Knoxville is a fucking legend for that one.
Yeah.
Surprised that motherfucker's still alive, man.
Me too. I'm surprised a lot of they ass still alive because them boys was wilding in the early 2000s, right?
Man.
Hell yeah. Six, you got three?
Three of my favorite comedy movies. Zach and Miri Makes a Porno is one of them, strictly because of the premise. That is so fucking ridiculous. The premise was so fucking ridiculous, but like the whole story was really just about what happened when you let a chick friend zone you. The lengths you would go to try to get her in your life. That's essentially what the premise of that movie is. When you let a chick friend zone you, and you got to go out your way to convince her that you're the one.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah,
I remember bits and pieces of that.
What's another one, man? It ain't a whole lot like it used to be, man. Cause shit, niggas ain't funny no more.
No.
But like,
you got right.
Shit, if I gotta think back, like, dude.
Nah, what's the Master P movie?
I Got the Hook Up.
Fuck, I can't. I Got the Hook Up. Yes, that's another movie. One of my favorite comedy movies. That shit was hilarious.
That Hangover, Life.
Yeah.
And what's another comedy? One I just like that makes me laugh still is Coming to America. When I watch that, that shit makes me laugh.
OG. Yeah.
The OG joint.
Yeah.
Harlem Nights. I don't know how I forgot Harlem Nights.
Yeah, Harlem Nights was
It's definitely one of those. I would probably say like Trading Places. That movie's so fucking ridiculous to me. Like the premise, I'm all premise based. So like if it's plausible, if it looked like I know somebody who could probably experience that and have that same reaction, then I'm gonna laugh my ass off. You know what I'm saying? But if it's some over the top goofy shit, I'd probably be a lot, you know what I'm saying, a little okay on that. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Role Model was another one for me. That was silly as fuck. I enjoyed that. That was it was funny to me and shit had me laughing a lot.
Good Boys was kind of funny to me. It was pretty funny. It kind of made me think about how all the bullshit that me and my friends used to do when we was kids.
Good Boys?
Good Boys. Yeah.
I don't think I saw that one.
Have y'all seen Horrible Bosses?
Both of them.
I haven't.
That shit is fucking hilarious.
That shit is fucking hilarious.
For anybody who's ever been fired, we can relate to that shit.
If you had a shitty boss that you know didn't deserve to be your boss, yeah, you can relate to that shit.
Damn, now all of them, right?
You know what I'm saying? You smarter than all these motherfuckers.
Ain't that something how it works though? Like these motherfuckers be stupid as shit and they be in better positions than you. Some of these motherfuckers ain't even got common sense though.
Or they around here enforcing rules that they right there breaking in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Right. They be like, no sexual harassment on the job. But then turn around and got some bitch pinned up against the fucking water cooler or some shit like that.
Right, all in some bitch face, man.
Harassing the fuck out somebody.
You know what I'm saying? For real. Like no racial discrimination. But you know what I'm saying? He over here asking you how much you like chicken and watermelon.
Right. Or walking up to you going, what's up, yo? Doing crazy
all that goofy
shit. Like get the fuck out of here, man.
No, I had a boss who hated to see me on my phone, but I stayed catching this nigga on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the nigga took like 15 cigarette breaks and to read the newspaper. Like, fam, that's the same shit. You can't read the newspaper at work, nigga. That's the 60s.
First of all, niggas don't even read the newspaper no more.
He was reading that bitch every morning. He'd read the whole paper through the 8-hour shift. But he mad because I'm scrolling Facebook. Fuck out my face, man.
Right.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna say where this was, but I had a boss that was tooting, you know what I'm saying? I caught him, you know what I'm saying? He nodded out in the back of the workplace. Someone came and got me, was like, yo, is he okay? Because they didn't know what it was. And I walk
we
up.
Know. We know. Fuck out of
here. Yep. So I didn't even say nothing. I waited till he nodded out again. I went and got the rest of the executive committee. I was like, man, can y'all come and look at this for a second? This is an emergency. I think the the roof might cave in. You know what I'm saying? I said some shit like that. So they all come rushing to the back. I was like, be quiet, because if you make a sound, the pressure and the decibel level might make it collapse. They found this motherfucker back there nodding off, like bent over. The motherfucker was damn near like a pretzel going backwards and shit. And they was like, what's wrong with him? I was like, oh, he can't hear you. He can't hear you at all. Like, y'all gonna have to wait. You know what I'm saying? If you do it, you're gonna snap him back out, and it might be bad.
You might as well shot that shit up. Go ahead and stick it between your fingers, dog.
Nah, it was too late, man. It was too late. Got him. Got that motherfucker, man. And they fired his ass, I think. Well, they sent him to rehab. I don't know. I stopped working after that. I was like, I ain't working no place where motherfuckers is in here.
You hear me? I'm good.
Y'all doping up and y'all in here getting mad at people for being late or taking an extra 10 minutes on their lunch, man. Get the fuck out of here. He ain't here.
This motherfucker in here finna overdose.
He said he in the back nodding, but he's 15 minutes late.
he in here sliding in and out of consciousness, talking about he got sleep apnea or some shit like that. This motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I know we know what's wrong with you, dog.
I know where to go. I got a supervisor that I was working with. She was always off the Adderalls, boy.
Ooh, she's the upper.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Swear up and down, she out working everybody. Bitch, yeah.
That bitch was focused every day off the Addy, son.
Yeah, she up here. You don't get to gloat and do steroids, my nigga. You gotta pick one. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna tell me? You know what I'm saying? You can't brag to me about outworking me, but you got addies and shit.
Right.
The fuck?
Right.
Put me on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You've been up since 5-6 this morning, man.
This bitch in the locker room doing push-ups and shit. Everybody else getting dressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Piss brown motherfucker.
Dead ass. This little motherfucker was in there doing push-ups. Everybody in there putting on their work clothes and shit. She in this bitch like she finna go out here and knock a nigga out. Cause she done already, she off the fucking addies early.
Yeah, she was geeking.
Everybody else in that motherfucker got Starbucks and shit. This bitch got Adderalls. This bitch trying to be up for the next week.
Man, I know a dude that did that too. Not at the same place, but before that place, I know a dude that was doing that. Except for he would sniff them shits, man. He would break them up, and he would like sniff them and shit. I was like, dude, I don't.
A different age, bro. This is a different day and age, my guy.
Like, I don't
That's
get that.
way too far.
I don't get that shit.
Yeah, this like I roll up. I roll up, smoke up.
That's it.
Laugh at some shit.
Yep.
Work on some music. I don't need all the extras. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, more power to anybody else. If you want to crush up a pill, you know what I mean? You trying to do some blows, whatever the fuck you do. Hey, that's on you, bro.
No, man, enjoy your life the way that you feel is best. But
whatever gets you through your day. But I'm gonna let you know, I ain't working that hard. When I'm at work, I ain't working that hard. Oh God, you ain't. I don't need
never work that hard,
nigga. I don't need no supplement to help me get along. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no fucking Adderall to help me get through some shit I probably shouldn't be working that hard on in the first place.
No, all I need is coffee. That's about the most you're gonna get up out of me. Coffee and a blunt before it's shift.
Bang.
That's like this the Adderall. What was the other one? This dude. I mean, it was some other shit this cat was doing, man. But he used to have all that shit. And only reason I found out was because we was all hanging out. We went to one of them parties that he asked us to go to, right? And when we got there, he was in there breaking down. He's busting up the pills on the table. I was just like, what's that? He's like, oh, this is that, but we're gonna mix it all together. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna be over there.
Nigga working on the pills like Salt Bay.
Man.
Nigga over there working on it.
Man, I'm sitting there looking like, and it's people that are looking like fiends, like waiting and shit for him to say, all right, let's do it. You know, I was like, man, this shit is crazy.
Wild as fuck.
What was it? Vicodin. I don't know how to say it. Klonopin and Demerol. Like that's a downer, I think. Like they was doing all that shit.
Yeah, that shit I ain't never heard of.
Yeah.
That's some antipsychotics and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the shit motherfuckers be on when they get like extreme anxiety and all that other shit. Or motherfuckers who got ADHD real bad. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It's just motherfuckers be sharing their prescriptions.
That's all. That's all. And then when they don't need it no more, they just keep telling people that they need that shit.
Yeah. I know I ain't no shit when all I know about is the rapper drugs. It ain't the rapper drugs. I ain't never heard of
shit. Most of the rapper drugs consist of shit that's like the high end version of what we were talking about.
Facts, fucking facts.
So that's all it is. Because ecstasy got the same. It's the same components of fucking crack. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's different generic chemical versions of that.
And different components that's not up to a higher level and everything.
Yeah, the dosage is real low. It's dose control. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting how all this shit, again, it bleed back into like the culture mindset. You know what I'm saying? We in a different day and age, so people find different ways to get, you know what I'm saying, get their high off or whatever. Shit, when I was coming up, like I said, most motherfuckers was smoking what Dro was the strongest you could get back in the 90s.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Dro was the shit.
Well, nigga said they had some Dro, nigga. You know, you dropped it, you know what I'm saying, a nice little chunk of change for it. Nowadays, you talk about you got some Dro, that's what high-end Reggie. High-end Reggie.
Called me one day. You sold me some Dro. Oh, yo.
Be mad as hell.
Dro ain't hot no more.
They gonna send a shooter back to you. Nigga, I want my money back in life. For real.
Man, if I hear that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, fam. I'm good.
That shit it should be loud as hell. You have a headache. I'm like, what the fuck?
That'd be the worst, man. You know, back years ago when I smoked and some shit gave me a headache. That shit is the worst.
That's how you know you got the best, Reggie. The headache gonna be right here between your nose and your eyebrows.
That shit horrible. That shit is horrible.
Like you start feeling your heartbeat right here.
You know what I'm saying? You be telling motherfuckers turn the music down. Ain't no music on.
Feel like a motherfucker.
Your nose up and shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Feel like somebody tapping you on the head and shit. Like that shit is the worst. Like, fam, you could just threw all this shit away.
You ever think about, especially considering that marijuana is illegal in the state of Illinois? Well, it's legal, but it's illegal federally. But because it's legal, you ever think about like doing some sort of featured collab or on the local dispensaries and shit?
We would love to do that. That'd be dope.
I think that'll help kind of like promote the you know what I'm saying, the actual federal legalization. You know what I'm saying? It'll give people more information than they currently get where they get it.
You know that actually would be dope. I don't know if we want our own strain or something like that, but to do a collab with some of these dispensaries on a few events or some shit like that, that actually would be dope.
Yeah, you should look into it. You should look
Especially
into
it. Ain't nobody even thinking like that as far as like from what I can tell. You know
my sister actually was one of the people who was granted the license for the dispensary. So I mean for the dispensary. So yeah, I actually probably could make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be like, you'd probably be some forward, you know what I'm saying, like a leap forward in the direction you're trying to take the brand. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Who knows?
Yeah, because he could get sponsorships and everything like that without even having to do too much background work.
Mm-hmm. I like how you brothers is thinking. Sound like me.
You know,
we are thinkers, sir. That's what we do.
Advance the people. You know what I'm saying?
We just trying to help. So as far as you being in the studio, are you working on music or are you just there with the team?
I'm actually here with an artist I haven't worked with in a very long time. So we are looking forward to that. I got a track I am gonna knock out. You know, it's been a while since I've been in music. I kind of stepped back away from the rapping shit, you feel me? But I like to rap for a hobby. So, you know, I still be dropping shit in now and then, but I think I might actually start taking it more serious than what I actually am. You feel me?
All right.
I kind of stepped away from wanting to be a rapper the older I get. You feel me? I ain't really comfortable being like a lot of these niggas.
Outside of the people around you, are there any other artists that you ever thought about working with as far as music goes?
Yeah, I got a shit ton of artists I'm actually looking to work with. A lot of them are Chicago based, but I think I got more producers I'm looking to work with than anything. You feel me? I'm actually into like making beats and shit now. So there's a lot of producers I'm in tune with. You know what I'm saying? When they come to Chicago, you know, they like to link with us.
Right.
But we ain't never really made nothing. So I think that's in the works as well.
That's dope.
Well, who are you listening to as far as hip hop goes right now?
Shit, you know, with Rap Cap and Kicks, I then got to listen to everything at least once, right? Put that motherfucker up on the website. I'll be listening to this shit like it's homework. I think I listen to a lot of ESTG, you know, because I be in the gym a lot. You feel me? But I think nowadays a lot of the shit that I listen to is like nostalgic. Like I'm still listening to like old Gucci Man mixtapes and that type of shit sometimes. So, but I listen to a lot of the new shit as well, like as far as Future, Yeezy album. But I didn't listen to everything that come out at least once, at least nowadays.
I know that earlier on when you before Rap Captain Kicks and you were doing your you know what I'm saying, pursuing your rap dreams as most young people who was in the city at the time was doing, you ever like link up with like certain brands like Andrew Barber or his Fake Short Drive blog when it was really like blog focused?
Yeah, I was actually on Fake Short Drive when that shit actually first popped, like in my younger days, like fresh out of high school. I was going by a different name though. That's back when I was in the Source magazine working with Project Spitfire.
Okay.
So yeah, I should actually still be up there if you search my old rap name, Young B-Boy Low. You feel me?
Right.
That's back when I had the dreads. Remember, I had the dreads. My name was Hollow Gang B-Boy.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Definitely.
So,
I was just thinking about that because I see like what you do now is almost like an extension of that era. You know, the blog era was like something different. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like our only real online magazine in terms of like discovering music as it transitioned.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before streaming really took off and shit.
Facts. And I think that was the first time Chicago ever seen like our culture actually being covered.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? From college kids, from Zach TV, academics, Fake Short Drive. You know what I'm saying? We had YouTube channels telling us what the fuck was going on in our own city. Man. And they was right. They was on that motherfucker solving cases.
Academics was on that shit. Academics was on that shit heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, him and College Kid. They was the two main ones. Zach TV too. Rest in peace to him.
Man, bro, that was crazy to hear that. Like this brother was trying to shed light and bring awareness and put forth a change.
I think that's what it looked like to y'all, but I think like don't get me wrong, I fuck with Zach TV.
Okay.
But like he was in the midst of a lot of like real street shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
shed light on it because I don't know. I'll shed light on it because I don't know.
I mean, just as far as like the type of content he covered, he was real live in the streets covering drill music when everybody else was covering it from afar. You know what I'm saying? And when you grow up in Chicago, you know you can't play with that type of shit. Like before Chicago really had a music scene, you would be cautious even bringing a video camera outside.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And he was going deep off into the trenches. And there was a lot of rumors saying like, you know, niggas ain't get hit up until he went over there because he can go talk to them and he can go talk to him. And in a sense, certain niggas gonna feel like you playing both sides. Me, I understand the professionalism of it, but I also understand the street aspect of it too. So I definitely was not surprised.
It was some hood journalism. It's like what they call it, guerrilla journalism when they used to go to war zones and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to take steps
kill
back.
Academics if they could.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would definitely kill academics if they could.
Because I remember hearing and seeing people talk about, you know,
they're so high profile now.
They want to knock his head off back then. Yeah, back then they wanted to knock his head off.
But Zach was never as high profile as academics is now. Zach was still always street level.
Like academics, every time academics kind of like excel, he created distance between him and that shit. But he still maintained the same type of persona. So like if you look at
you're 100% right.
So like where he at right now, he talk big shit, but most of his coverage is nothing close to what his core started as. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see him with the fresh and fits and shit like that. He know what he's doing, man. He's separating himself from it by expanding his you know what I'm saying, his reach, and keeping the face of it all the same.
Yeah.
He talk his shit with his chat niggas. He let them, you know what I'm saying, he let them stir the pot. He ain't stirring the pot so much no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time he level up, he just puts somebody else in a different position that he was in, and he just goes up, and then he falls back further and further back. But
right now, what's creating distance between him and the bullshit is that Fresh and Fit shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Him and Tekashi was his buffer at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? Whack 100 was his buffer at one point in time. Every time he get those relationships, because his first buffer was Joe Budden. If Joe Budden didn't bring him onto Complex, he'd still be doing
100% right.
Yeah,
he'd still be doing YouTube shit.
Yeah. So Joe Budden created like a buffer. That's why when he was, you know what I'm saying, when he got confronted by Vic, you know what I'm saying, he was caught off guard by it because he ain't never had nobody come up that close to him talking that shit. You know what I mean? So when he came face to face with that realization, he knew that his only other move was to keep on expanding his brand. If you want to create more distance from that, he don't talk about war on Chirac too much no more.
No, because motherfuckers, like I said, they started wanting to see what he was about.
A couple of them savages he used to be talking about, they running around up there with him now. So
these niggas was in the streets at first. Now these niggas in the industry.
I still say niggas should thank them though, because if it wasn't for them, motherfuckers wouldn't be popping like that. And I stand on that. If it wasn't for Zach TV, Fake Show Drag, College Kid, and DJ Academics, a lot of these artists would not be popping like that. Like
it worked both ways.
Paparazzi. It definitely do.
It worked both ways.
They help each other out.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you're right. Because honestly, like they core fan base was just niggas in the streets, niggas in the city. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know a lot of young niggas, they was always talking about a lot of these young drill niggas. Some of them popped off, some of them didn't, but they had the ones that they was talking about. And you ain't hear so much about it on the internet. Now it's like the most, like, I don't even know what the fuck. This is the question I was going to ask you anyway. And I think we had this conversation before. What's your thoughts on New York drill as it pertains to like the drill culture as a whole? Because that shit sound like something else to me.
I understand hip hop. I understand that if you do something that's popping, other regions and other parts of the world gonna pick up on it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid, when they referred to as drug dealing, they called it serving. But the minute G's and them came out, people started calling it trapping. So I can understand why New York is doing drill music, but in my opinion, it's like I don't want to take away from what it is that they're doing because they from New York. If anybody can relate to Chicago, they gotta be like right up next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like a commercialized drill music though. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like they yelling cut at their video shoots and shit. Like, and I guarantee Shorty them wasn't yelling cut at their video shoots. I don't even think they thought they was gonna get famous off the shit that they was doing. They was just doing them. You know what I'm saying? So in my I respect what they doing. I like to see that Chicago is actually getting the notoriety that they getting, but when you got people out here saying they started drill music, like, you feel me? Like,
nah, man. I ain't
gonna get into that,
but you know how they go though. You know how they go.
Nah, man. We know where that shit started. Cut it out.
Yeah.
And
you got people saying it started in the UK, but I ain't too big up on UK music, so.
No,
but I know drill came from here.
The beats, they might have been doing the beats over there that the guys started gravitating.
Sounds like grime. Grime is that UK shit.
That's it. Right. It was the UK beats. That's all it was. Like here, that drill shit had been going on for a very long time, man.
Yeah.
I think it was much more than the actual sound that we was providing. It was a shit that was actually going on.
It was talking about in the music, the music, the lyrics, the songs.
One thing I will say is I think that drill music kind of authentified the culture. It seemed like before that, anybody was able to say they was a gangster rapper. And nowadays, you can't just say that. Nowadays, you can't really come out and say, you know what I'm saying, like you from the streets, because it ain't hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it ain't hard to dig up either.
A lot of these younger rappers, you could tell they really do come from this shit. And you had like a lot of, I don't want to say fake ass rappers, but fairy tale ass rappers who was just making music, you know, back in the day when you got niggas nowadays rapping about real murders. You feel me? So
that's why that's why I said what I said at the top of this about how like the culture, like hip hop rap, that culture intertwined with the music industry is poisonous, bro, because like the stories is the stories. We can't change that. The music is the music. We can't change that. But the way they commodify that shit, the way they turn that shit into money, and who they pick and choose to allow to be the face of it for that year is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only motherfucker who ever came in the game and bypassed all of that shit, just fucking pivoted in and out of the game, but just kept on doing what they want to do. It's in the whole from what I recall growing up to seeing what I see now. It's only been one motherfucker who maneuvered through all that shit without ever having been tainted by it, and that's Kanye.
Yeah, I think Kanye was the first person who was actually making just real good music. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really have no street aspects in it. He was the first one to really pop. Like, I think if it wasn't for Kanye, it wouldn't be room for like Drake's and that type of shit. You had people like, I want to say like real soulful ass rappers like Most Def and them type shit, Black Eyed Peas type shit, but nobody was as cool as Kanye though. You know what I'm saying? And I think that made room for rappers to just be themselves in the future.
Kanye was the first rapper to blur the line between commercial aspect and the street aspect. He was the first one to blur the line. It was either you was one or the other. You was either street.
Exactly.
He was the one where he came out, let you know he wasn't street, but look at who I run with.
I'm a backpacker that be around the gangsters though.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So he wrote songs that was way outside the framework of what the industry was already promoting at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Budden was big when Kanye came out. You know what I'm saying? Joe Budden had the biggest single at the time. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent was out. Eminem was still a star. Nelly was still a star. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a whole industry full of niggas at this time who was actually supposed to be up next. And Kanye came in again. He pivoted through. He fucking, you know what I'm saying? He did a spin move on the game. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with a layup on his first album. Right. And this is the album he was trying to get everybody to listen to. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mentality. I think it's a mentality thing. I think we're gonna see another mentality shift coming up soon.
I think that was around the same time Jay-Z, what he said in that song, only niggas moving units is Pimp, Juice, and M. And
Pimp, Juice, and us.
Yeah. Pimp, Juice, and us.
Pimp, Juice, and us.
Yeah. That
boy himself was special too. Probably still is. You know, he chilling now. $1 billion hole.
It's kind of it's interesting, man. It's like just watching throughout the years how the game kind of like it manifests a whole new face. Everybody represents a different era, and right now because the streaming era is revealing what a lot of motherfuckers have been saying, but nobody was really acknowledging. Like the record labels done bought into the streaming services now, so now they get it's a hand over fist money. But at the same time, the independent game is killing because a lot of niggas they using the internet to their full potential.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we're about to see another shift.
Yep. Now a lot of motherfuckers realize like you don't really need the record label. You just need to put out that proper content and keep people aware, keep people watching. Yeah. But you got Leo Cohen, you know, he behind the scenes working on something, bro.
All right. And he I think he got a spot in Apple Music though, don't he?
Google. I thought it was Google.
Yeah, YouTube. He is behind YouTube.
Yeah, he told them to buy YouTube or whatever it was.
Because NBA YoungBoy got beef with them over there.
And Dame Dash was calling him a culture vulture.
Mm-hmm.
YoungBoy was saying he wasn't seeing his money, but he getting all these streams and everybody else seemed to be eating. You know what I'm saying? Who you checking for though?
Say that again.
Who you checking for out here?
You mean as far as music?
Yeah, who you see that like is real that you see that might have a shot at being the next star, the next big name?
I don't know. It's like ain't too many big name artists, in my opinion. No more. A lot of people like it's like as soon as you make the internet, you a rapper nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like streaming services has made it so different to determine who's gonna be the next star because there's so many stars in these different cities. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a rapper in Texas who I've never heard of, but I bet he got 1 million views.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the market is kind of oversaturated. So by the time I can tell you that somebody is gonna be a star, they probably already a star because there's so many artists with potential who occupy the same platform that most of the biggest stars occupy. So it's
Right.
kind of hard to pick somebody out. If I pick anybody out, I would probably be biased. I would say the artist I'm in the studio with right now, honestly, because I know that's the business thing to say.
I got you.
You feel me?
Have you guys seen his special on Vice? I was trying to watch it just came to mind when you guys were talking about it, talking about streaming services. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to check it out. It was talking about how there's this one guy who knows how to get you, he knows how to prop up your streaming sales and everything. That's really what he does. They pay him to go in and run the numbers up on all the streaming platforms. Have you heard about that, Six?
I think I did. I heard somebody talking about it. I don't know where I heard somebody talking about it at, but I do recall that being a conversation somewhere.
Yeah, they were saying, depending on what you pay him, he can get you up to 1,000 or 100,000 or 200,000. He said, not only do the independent artists, he said, not only do the independent artists come to him, but he said the record labels come to him as well, and they tell him to run up the sales. And he said it's all, he don't ask no questions. He just get paid, and he do what they ask him to do.
I mean, I can see that being the thing because there's no different. That's like insider trading. Somebody's always doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And also because everything is streaming based more so than purchase based, that's if they can get motherfuckers to buy the units, that's dope. But they more intent on making sure that those numbers on the stream side look good because that's what, you know what I'm saying, boosts their revenue shares for their shareholders. You know
Absolutely. And it's no different from back in the 90s to the late 2000s, where you had certain record labels that was going in there and buying up all the CDs and shit and passing them out, instead of just handing them out as samples. They was actually buying them up, buying 100,000 copies and throwing them back out into the streets and shit like that.
Or going to certain radio networks and buying up all their time slots and shit.
Paying for the time slots. What they call it? Payola? It was called Payola or something, right?
Yeah, so the radio station would focus mainly on this record label or this group of record labels artists and not the others because they'd already been paid for that slot.
Yeah,
never
heard of that.
Yeah, it's a grimy game. That's why motherfuckers was going to college. That's why motherfuckers started going to college radio and shit like that before the internet really, you know what I'm saying, became what it is. Like, it's hard. It's tough as shit right now to regulate internet. And they're really trying their best to get a hold of it. It's hard as hell to regulate internet. You can like, who can regulate, you know what I'm saying, SoundCloud? You can't tell a motherfucker.
Yeah, you really can't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why I say it's hard to tell who next to blow because ain't nothing regulated no more.
Yeah.
Well, shit, it used to be like you could go out to a studio. I remember when we was coming up, shit, like we could go from studio to studio and hear certain shit. Or when we travel, we knew kind of like, yo, that they on their way, man. Well, you knew
this on some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Right-handed guy, bro. I remember the first time I heard Mystical demo tape. I was shopping my shit around. And he was going around shopping his shit around. I remember hearing his demo. And the record label was so impressed, of course, because they saw the earning potential. They used fucking 95% of his whole fucking demo tape for his debut album. And that's what kind of like, you see what I'm saying? Nowadays, that's not really heard of. They'd rather if you're going to have, if your project is already out and they want to sign you and they're going to go with that, you got to have the numbers already in place to support it. So that means that your streams got to be up, your follower count got to be up, all that, because they got to know that that's guaranteed earning potential. Back in the day, that wasn't even a thing, dude. Yeah. They just went off of the vibe of the music. They went off the energy. They went off of the potential that you might blow up. Nowadays, these motherfuckers need guarantees.
Yeah, they need guarantees, or like you said, your streams need to be up, and if they not, they will be taking out an insurance policy on you.
They might shit. If you ain't really doing no numbers like that, but they see the potential of you moving units, what they'll do is they'll have you in a writing pool for a while. You'll just be a writer for another artist for a while, or a producer for another artist for a while before they actually let you get your shit off.
Yeah, shit done changed so much, man, because of the streaming services. It's kind of crazy the way that everything's moving. I hope just more artists, gain control of whatever it is they're doing, but the push is going to have to be something major, because the way it's looking now, like you know that these record execs are sitting behind the scenes trying to make sure that they get a hold of this, that, and the third before you get your royalties, your publishing, and everything else.
Facts. You freeze up, D-boy?
You know what? Having conversations with regular people is very weird for me. I can't do it. It's hard for me. Like when they have a mainstream media type of thinking, and you know, or it's all tied up into the same shit that they were brought up on, and they don't really think for themselves, bro. It's not deflating, but it's exhausting.
It really is. It takes all the energy out you because you knowing what you know and being a even keeled person, you don't want to ever make a motherfucker feel inferior to you just because you're giving them this information. But most people don't give you no other option but to like really show them. You have to show them that they're not as smart as they think they are sometimes, because they don't know when to like concede the point. You know what I'm saying? They want to debate you and argue you into the dirt over something they absolutely wrong about. You know what I'm saying? And it's a responsibility that come with being intelligent and smart that a lot of us just like, man, this finna go out the window because I'm gonna knock this nigga out if he don't shut up talking to me right now.
And that's the other part of it is like, yo, I'm only being quiet to save myself a phone call.
Man,
I'm only being quiet to save myself the sense of urgency to hurt you. Like you don't know it, but I'm this close to slapping the shit out you just to see what you do next.
Right.
Because at this point I'm done talking to you. I'm irritated. I'm annoyed.
You won't shut the fuck up.
You won't shut the fuck up. And now I want to see what you would do.
Right.
Because a lot of motherfuckers that's why it's like talking to you and a few other people, man. I just keep it there because I just can't have conversations with everybody, man.
Not everybody really not everybody have platforms, and I ain't saying like this as a platform, but I'm saying like they don't put themselves in position or have that in that position in their life where they can express themselves clearly. So they never get to hear their thoughts out loud very often, because a lot of times they probably in relationships or friendships, whatever, where they don't even get to be the vocal one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they just got these ideas and they soak up all this information from the media or social media or other people's opinions and never really do the background research and cross references of any of these ideas. And they just live with that. Then they come meet you and they feel like they putting you on to some shit and they all wrong.
Right. and again, in the process of them doing it, I gotta be quiet because I gotta just let you talk so you can have the win, so you can feel like you're the big dog in the room. Not because going back and forth with you in a dialogue or a debate is constructive, but because I know this is gonna end with me being so fucking annoyed that we might flip a switch. Something bad might happen. Like I just know it.
Yeah,
I just know it.
And that's the thing, man. Like a lot of people, you see, that self-awareness is key because that's what keeps us alive, man. And also it keeps us from killing somebody.
And let's say it that way, because when we say keep us alive, we don't mean that we worried about dying. We worried about you.
Yeah. So that means that other person on the other end of that has no self-awareness. They lack self-awareness.
None.
They don't know when to shut up. Whereas you know when to just, you know what I'm saying, dial it back, you know what I'm saying, refocus some of that energy and attention because you know what you're capable of. You see what I'm saying? And that person is not only unaware of what you're capable of, but they're unaware of their inability to defend against what you're capable of because they're not giving it any thought in the first place.
Correct. Because they're expecting the reaction to be the same as their action, and that's not really how it goes.
That's not how reality works.
No,
if you demand that I assert myself or defend myself in a particular way, however I do it is appropriate to the situation according to me.
No, if you slap me and I pick up a tree branch and beat the shit out you till your head caves in, that's just my reaction. It has nothing to do with paying you back the same way that you paid me back. That's not how this works. You know what I mean? But I don't think people get that. Like sometimes you could be steps away, inches away from hurt, harm, or danger, and not know it just because you want to get the win, or you want to win a debate. You want to feel like you won the challenge in life. And for, like I said, like I'm not arguing with nobody, man. I'm not gonna argue with you, bro. Especially if you're not from the home team. Especially if you're not from the core. If you're not a person I know I'm gonna gain something off of, I'm not arguing with you, bro.
And even if there is something to gain, it's still got to be measured against whether or not it's even worth it for you.
And I think that's when we go back to the level of self-respect and the lack of respect from other people. Like, is it worth it? Right. Is it worth it? Is this worth having a continuous conversation with a person who I probably don't have that much respect for?
Right. That's true. Because a lot of people, I mean, like if you really view it from the angle of when you had like a set core value system, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's rooted in respect, if it's rooted in communication, you know what I'm saying? If you have all these different core values, you're not gonna allow yourself to deviate from too many of them, because then it's not balanced anymore. So like you might go ahead and forego communication, but you're not gonna forego respect. So if this person can't communicate that well with you, you'll give them a pass on that. But as long as they maintain respect, then everything remains cordial. You dig what I'm saying? If this person is disrespectful as fuck, but they communicate well, it give you something to look at too. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna distance myself from this motherfucker, because I know that this person is intelligent enough to know that they're being disrespectful to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I get physical with them, then that takes this to, you know what I'm saying, the next level. Now I got to assess that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just one of the things that a lot of people don't think like that, because they be in those moments. They either a slave to their emotional state, or they fucking cognizant of the whole situation.
Yeah. And one of those conversations I had was recently when I was sitting with somebody. I think it was at work. It was at work. I shouldn't say I think. It was at work. And they're telling me about boxing, and they never boxed. They just been watching for the last 5 years. Right. They don't know too much. They don't know about a back lead foot. They don't know about an L step. They don't know about a rhythm step. They don't know about none of this shit, right? And they don't even know how to throw a fucking jab correctly. But they're telling me that they know more about me from what they've seen than what I'm talking about. And I'm usually the guy that'll tell you, Six, or anybody else that'll listen, who's going to win a fight and how it's going to go. Like, I can tell you that, you know what I mean? Because certain fighters have a certain rhythm. Certain fighters have a signature to what they're going to do to win a fight. And when you got a person who's talking to you about something that they have absolutely no involvement in, and they haven't been studying it like the way that you study it, there's a point that you reach and you go, yo, getting mad at this idiot should be the last thing that I'll do. Because if you're going to get mad at him, you got to really be mad at yourself for letting him bring you down into a conversation like that.
Yep.
So he was just like, you know I'm right. You know I'm right. That's the reason why you're not responding. And I finally told him recently, the reason why I don't respond to you when you're saying the stuff is because you sound absolutely stupid when you're talking about boxing. You don't know shit.
All right.
You really don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know anything about a jab, a hook, or any type of punch. You just going off what you like and what's in front of you. You can't tell me anything about these fighters and the way that they move in the ring, or the way they train, or the certain signature things that they like to do. You can't tell me dick about it. So the reason why I'm not going to continue to respond to you is because I will be lowering myself by getting down on the level with you and doing this petty shit. And I'm so far ahead of that.
That's me on most topics, bro. Like I listen to people talk about certain subjects, but I know not to join a lot of those conversations, because I know how vast my knowledge base can go when it comes to some of these subjects, like hip hop. You talk hip hop with me, you know what I'm saying? You talk music production with me, stuff like that. You talk, you know what I'm saying? I hear people who talk from a fan's perspective. I don't even join those conversations a lot of the times. I just let them get their little, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, like shit, I could talk video games and how video games are made, shit like that with people. I could talk about all of these different things. I'm a big movie buff. I'll sit up and watch movies, and I could tell when the cuts are made, what type of camera they use, and all this sort of stuff, because I'm really into that. I deconstruct movies a lot of times when I'm sitting and watching them. So in my mind, when I'm listening to people talk about certain stuff, I'm hearing them talk again from a fan's perspective or from a layman's perspective that a lot of times I'm just not even interested, bro.
Yeah, and it's so base level when you're dealing with these conversations. It's kind of like I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm talking to a kindergarten or somebody that's in third grade, and I'm not about to have this type of conversation with you, and you don't even know you can't even get to the level where I am. You know what I mean? So I just gotta let people have these type of conversations, man. The biggest win is that I get to go home, and you get to go home.
Facts. You know, and we don't have to allow something as petty as a conversation that you don't understand, I don't want to have, doesn't have to escalate to something else. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't have situational or situational awareness isn't my problem. I need to get away from you because you're a problem to us both.
Yeah.
If you don't understand it, I'm not trying to have to talk with you.
And it's crazy how many people are naive or think that they, they think that it's just a conversation. It's just really not. It's really not. And I told my me and my buddy was talking one time. He's like, man, sometimes, when I'm out, man, and I'm not like around y'all, he's like, I be out around people, man, and I be having a drink. He said, when people start talking, I get another drink. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I drink so I can be able to socialize with some of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, because they already be saucy. So if you're not on their level, you don't have a tolerance for it. Dude, I'd be like that a lot. I went out to the bar with my girl last night, and this dude was shit-faced drunk. He came up to me talking about some shit, and I was just shaking my head like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to go too deep to his conversation because he was already maxed out inebriated. And you know what I'm saying? I looked at her and she laughed. She's like, they always walk up to you. I was like, yeah, they got you know what I'm saying? It's like they want to have a conversation with somebody, especially guys when they get drunk. They want to have these conversations and they don't be about nothing. And the only way you can actually entertain that shit is you have to be at least close to that level of drunk. Because otherwise it's annoying.
It's very annoying. It's very fucking annoying. And then because I remember what he was saying, and I was like, oh, the shit that I did. He was like, yeah, he's like, when people start talking to you while you're hanging out, you start drinking. I was like, it's because I can tolerate them better. Like, I may not make no sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make no sense at all. So, it's not that I'm off my square. It's just the fact that the conversation I'm being presented with don't mean shit to me.
You had to apply a filter.
Yeah.
Alcohol is you apply the filter. You know what I'm saying? You put a filter to it. So that way you can, the nonsense will be less nonsense.
Man.
And at least that way you can make whatever you're attending to be that much more enjoyable. Because if you're not enjoying yourself, you're not going to try to be there. You're not trying to hear half the shit they're talking about, whether you got to be there or not.
And the thing about it is, like, I'm there to watch the game, drink a couple beers, and have some wings. Like, that's my real reason for being there. I'm not there to entertain nobody or be liked. Like, I could give a shit less. All I need is my drink, some food, and just leave me the fuck alone. I'll watch my phone. I will watch.
I respect that, especially in those social settings. People don't respect that shit. That's what it is.
And then you end up, you're like, yo, let me just have another drink so I can deal with these fucktards.
You could be direct. You could be an asshole and be direct. Like, look, bro, I really ain't trying to talk right now. I'm just trying to watch this fight and eat my food. They don't never receive that well.
Because it's like, oh, you think you better than me? Man, listen, I don't think I'm better than you, but to make sure that we both get home, just like, leave me alone.
All right, let me just eat my food and watch this fight.
Look, and you can have all this shit.
All right, you could for real. You could clear the bar if you want to.
Just leave me alone. They don't be getting that shit, man. I think that's the difference between us and certain other type of people. Like, there's nothing wrong with how people grew up, but it's just that lack of awareness that they have.
Right.
Like, man, I'm inches away sometimes from destroying shit. Like,
bro, what's crazy though is like we live in a civilized state. Like a lot of our surroundings or whatever is supposed to be emblematic of like how civilized we've become as a species or whatever. But dude, situations still occur that bring all that primal shit out of us, and we gotta keep it together because of some laws. We gotta fight our base urge to knock a nigga head off.
Man,
because of these urges. You know, so these laws saying, nah, you can't do that.
And it's out like,
but when they put you in that and when they lock your ass up, guess what? You're around a bunch of them motherfuckers who finally got to let them urges go.
And now you got to deal with all of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Sticks, man. Like, look, I literally, me and my sister were talking, and she was like, "Is it hard to fight the urge?" I was like, "That's why I just take deep breaths and I just act like I don't see them."
The crazy part about it, though, is like a lot of people don't know what it means to let them urges go. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been fully 100% indoctrinated in all those different ways. But then you also got those people who savages. They don't know what it means to keep those urges under control. So they out here in these streets doing wild shit, or they locked up in the joint. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you got those two extremes, and then you got those of us in the middle who may have, you know, some participated in contact sports and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it can go across the fucking spectrum. Because like those of us who participated in contact sports, we kind of got to let some of that energy out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But then you got the ones who never got that type of physical interaction. They just sit up and play video games. So they mentally get those urges out, but they never physically get those urges out. Yeah. So they still have physical aggression, but they don't know how to exercise it because they've never been in those scenarios. You see what I'm saying?
And that's another reason why, you know, like when my sister was asking me, I was like, you know what, sis? If I don't work on a podcast, if I don't do exercise, I'm in a lot of trouble. If I don't do some push-ups or something around the house, like I'm literally if I don't meditate, I'm in trouble. Because if I don't do any of the things that release some of this aggression and center me, I start teeter-tottering and and it's not like I do it like I want to do it, or I do it on purpose, but I start having these moments where I forget what side, you know, like shit start blending, like, right. And certain things people start saying to me, like I sometimes I'm like, yo, I can't figure it out. Like, should I, you know, am I supposed to slap the shit out you right now?
Dude, that's the crazy thing about like how we live as a society. We live in this society where we're taught to like contain these urges and stuff like that, right? And keep all our decisions on some civilized shit. That's all fine and good, but there's a fucking war happening on the other side of the globe. That's a direct fucking concocted comparison to what we're talking about. The urge to tear up some shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Russia's motives are. I only know what mainstream media says. I'm not sitting over there in they war room as they devise a plan and come up with a you know what I'm saying, a reason. I don't even know if Ukraine is under equipped for it. All I know is they kind of hold, you know what I'm saying, they holding the line. Yeah. You did what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say, like, dude, we on the cusp of like some real catastrophic shit here in the United States because we've been taught to keep shit under wraps and keep it contained instead of letting it out. Or if you do let it out, this is going to be the consequence, as opposed to just having some real outlets for men to actually be able to do some things. Yeah, it shouldn't just always be a fucking puncher bag, my guy. There's more motherfuckers got guns now and going to gun ranges than ever. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you don't pick up that training for nothing. No. And when like I said, I was talking to my little sis and she was just like, she told me, she's like, I pray for you. Like, and I started laughing, you know, I'm laughing at it because I think she's being sarcastic. She's like, no, I pray for you sometimes. She said, because people look at you and she's like, they see, she's like, I think people see, but they don't really know what it is. Right. I was like, man, you should be praying for the surroundings around me because I be cool. It ain't me. I was like, you've never seen me wild out and do something like this on my own. It's usually someone pushing and poking the bear. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just reacting. I'm reacting to the bullshit. But on the subject of the Ukraine-Russia situation, right? Right. Here's something I want to say for people who are listening to this podcast, all right? If you're listening right now, if you're seeing the video, because maybe you may see this video.
Do you know that Russia isn't really that far from the United States of America? Russia and Alaska is like 90 kilometers apart. If you go do the research, go look at the map and go look at how close the two are actually.
That's the last state we bought. The United States bought, ain't it?
I think so.
It's the last, yeah, because they bought it from Russia.
Yeah, and that's one of the places where we have our oil reserves too. Like that's not that far away, Six.
Dude, motherfuckers don't even realize that a lot of the oil we buy that we consume and use here, we buy from Russia. And even currently in the state of this war, even though there are sanctions in place for other shit, they have not found a way to not buy oil from Russia. So there's that. So they're getting financing either way. So
hey,
whatever they say the beef is, hey, you buy what you want to buy. You know what I'm saying? You purchase whatever they selling, and that's your thing. But just use little critical thinking skills and look at everything from a larger perspective, and you see whose side, you know what I'm saying, is a little bit more on the even playing field. You know what I'm saying?
And then the other part is I think China owns 40% of the US debt.
Yep.
So, it's a lot of shit to look at, when people are talking about, fuck Russia and fuck all this and fuck all that and fuck China. Be careful what you're saying, man.
It might be your daddy tomorrow.
Yeah. There are people that own the factories and the jobs that, that some of us have. And the banks and the land. So it's a lot out there going on that we don't understand because we don't get the full scope. We don't get to hear what's going on in a war room or in the negotiation rooms. We don't get to hear this shit.
All we hear is the entertaining shit. Everything is all about headlines.
Yeah.
A good headline, you're not gonna hear about it.
And the only reason I went into that is because I saw one of the generals or the majors of the army saying, we will not take threats lightly and this, that, and the third. I'm like, fam, when did we ever go to war with Russia? Ever?
We were always on the cusp, never direct, never nothing, no real conflict. It's always been like, we're in a standoff, or they're talking about firing off nukes, so we got to keep our finger on the button, all that spooky shit.
Yeah,
but no real conflict.
And I think that there's a reason why. I think there's a real reason why that hasn't happened. And also with China, I think China's supposed to be their partner or some shit like that.
They share the same values, I know.
Yeah, so you got to be careful.
It's just, and I'm not here to try to disseminate any inaccurate information, but I do speak from the perspective of somebody who's been following it a little bit closely and just watching and reading a little bit and trying to see what makes sense to me outside of what's being said. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is keep an eye on the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's a 3-card money game happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Keep an eye on it. You know what I'm saying? They say most of the Bitcoin is owned in Russia. That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you invest in Bitcoin, that's something to keep an eye on.
It's a lot to take in, man. You got to be aware of this type of shit. But if you're one of those type of people that's just gonna believe what they tell you to believe, then there's that.
There's that. I mean, also, it's like the way I view it, bro, is like because there is no pure, accurate source of information other than the source of the information. You got to piece it together. You got to be discerning, and you got to piece it together, because I don't have any ties and any connection to any high up officials in any one of these nations or any one of these governments, but I do see things, and I always try to strip it down to its most basic components, the most important pieces, and then I build it back up, removing all of the fluff. You know what I'm saying? Like we're a very proud, patriotic nation. This nation is very proud and patriotic for whatever fucking reason. This is just what it is. They've promoted it for years. So once you strip away all the pride and the patriotism from every news story, and you look at the basics of it, then you start to see a few things. Every story gonna be sold to you on the premise that we're great and everybody else is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's throwing rocks and hiding your hands, or that narcissistic attitude is like I didn't do nothing wrong when you're actually the whole problem.
It's like an abusive partner, like being in an abusive relationship. The motherfucker that's beating your ass always gonna make you feel like you had it coming.
Yeah, and then tell you we love you later on.
Yep.
So if that's what you fucking with, then it is what it is. Have you seen these clips lately of the Africans or Black people that are in Ukraine that can't get out? They're not letting them get on the trains or the planes and things like that.
Yeah, they're denying them access. They're not priorities.
Yeah, and then telling them that they want them to go fight in the war. You're gonna keep me from getting the fuck up out of here to deal with some shit that ain't mine. And now you want me to go fight in a war that ain't mine either.
You know why that happens though, right? Because in most cases, in a lot of these cases, yeah, they get to study abroad, they go across the globe and get their education and stuff like that. But a lot of those nations don't hold any real power in the UK. I mean, not in the UK, in the United Nations. Most of them don't have real, you know what I'm saying? If you got somebody who actually can stand up, it's like having fucking a lobby in Congress. Like if you got like if you're I don't want to like say any specific demographic, but if you're part of this community and you feel disenfranchised or you feel disrespected for any reason, you can go talk to your representative, and your representative is gonna raise hell about what it is you feel is disrespectful. And then now that entity that disrespected has to pay a penance for that.
Yeah, it's like having your own embassy or ambassador, and they don't have.
I think if they do have an embassy or an ambassador, they don't hold any real weight, real power.
Nah, they can't.
There's nothing those nations can levy against the Ukraine for what's happening, because they can always point to the fact that, hey, we are at war right now, and these people are not my priority. My people are my priority. And then it's like, well, that's inhumane, but you got a point. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're gonna look at it. Plus, they're talking about joining the fucking the European Union or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be backed by the UK.
The most I know about it is that all of that was Russia, and then Belarus and Ukraine decided to divide or separate from what was going on because they wanted to be a part of NATO. That's the most I know.
Right.
That's all I know.
After the USSR came to an end, that's when all of that division started to happen.
Mm-hmm. And then Russia felt some type of way, or they didn't like what was going on. I should say, not some type of way. They didn't like what was going on, and for years they have been trying to cause a situation such as what's happening right now. So I guess they got their wish. I don't know who's at fault for what, but I'm not a person that believes in just fucking with people. I'm one of those guys that grew up on find a bully, whoop the bully. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if that's the situation, I hope people get what they got coming to them. But if it's not, man, I wish people the best. I hope I hope it works out, and I hope that peace is restored, because
I'm viewing it from like a pragmatic standpoint. I'm looking at it from like imagine like when it was BGDN, right, before it kind of split off into BD, GDN, blah blah blah, and now they split off into these smaller factions. You know what I'm saying? It's like you waving the GD flag, or you still have some of the cultures, some of the culture, and some of the you still maintain some of the tenets of what the old nation is, and you next door, and I hear that you got this going on, you're trying to join the set that we oppose. Like, nigga, you either with us or you're not with us. That's how I view it from a gang standpoint. I view it like Russia would be the core, and all the nations that splintered off from it. I don't know what kind of deal they had. I don't know what kind of pact they had or whatever. But for Ukraine to be seeking to join the European Union might have been it might have been a slap in the face.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I view that kind of like how when with Texas is always talking about defection. Florida's always talking about defecting. You know what I'm saying? Like if Texas were to defect and they decide they're gonna go ahead and start their own nation or whatever. Now they're a nation between the United States and Mexico, right? And they allow certain stuff to happen in their nation that the rest of the United States don't really adhere to, and the United States come to see them. How the world gonna view that? You see what I'm saying? That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like from that angle. Like, well, if Texas breaks away from the United States and says, all right, we're our own nation, but we want to kind of like, we want to join Cuba. The United States, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? That wasn't part of the deal, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
You just said you wanted to be on your own.
Right. Now you want to pair up with my ops. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I view it, but I might be wrong. It's just the way all the pieces and stuff seem to be falling apart.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, like I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man, with these people when they talking about going to war. And then on top of that, what is actually in it for me during the course of these transactions and fallouts. They talking about a situation. They may end up in another situation like Chernobyl, bro.
Shit, Russia just took Chernobyl.
Really?
Yeah, they took that shit about 3-4 days ago.
But shit, I mean, you can't do nothing with it for the next 50,000 years.
Shit, I think it's something to it. Bro. I think that there's something, because I know that plutonium is still rich. You know what I'm saying? That uranium, that's what it is. That uranium,
yeah,
rich.
A lot of it hasn't been detonated.
And it might be something to that, bro.
Yeah.
Saying you don't just take otherwise it's a vast wasteland. What's the value in taking on vast wasteland unless there's something there?
Bang bang. That's the other part about it, right? Yeah, don't nobody fight over wastelands.
Exactly.
Never heard of that one.
Never. That's why I looked at it from, what I'm saying? Once I saw that they took Chernobyl, I was like, it's a bigger game at play here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know that until you just said that.
Yeah.
Well, there goes more hints to it. I think we're gonna go ahead and end it here, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate Santana De Niro for jumping on us. That is the owner or proprietor of RAPCAPAND. He cut out. I think he was having a problem with his service, but we appreciate him jumping on. Six, anything else you want to say?
Nah, man, I appreciate him dropping through, you know what I'm saying, giving us some insight on the brand and what we see happening, you know what I'm saying, for the future of Chicago's hip hop and, just the culture in general.
Absolutely. And we will try to get him back on here sometime soon. And that'll do it for us. Remember the mission statement when you're striving for greatness. God never puts you in a driver's seat when it's taken. We are out of this bitch.
Yes, sir.